Hello and welcome everybody to the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, a weekly podcast broadcast live from a secret undisclosed location here in the heart of the great state of Colorado. My name is Nicolas Rasso, and without further ado, we will present to you all our fearless patron, Hugo Chavez. Ray, give it up for the Hispanic Patriots, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Hispanic Patriot Podcast. We've got some great guests tonight. A power couple from Colorado Springs, John and Pricella.
Another one, it should be said.
John and Pricella Tiegen. Some of you may know John from his Benghazi fame. So we'll be getting into that here in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to start with a couple of brief points that we've got coming up in the Colorado GOP. And that is on Thursday next week, which is our normal showtime. We have a central committee meeting where we're going to have a special election for vice chairman. So next week we will have our show on Wednesday evening, the night before. So stay tuned for that. We're still working on a guest for that show. So we've got an election. We've got two elections coming up. First is going to be the vice chair, and second is going to be the chair, which will come later in April. We haven't got a date for that yet, but we got to elect. According to the bylaws, we have to elect a vice chair on April the 2nd, and then we'll have a new vice chair, and then when the current chair resignation takes effect on April the 17th, then we'll have an announcement for an election for a new chair. So that's what's going on in the Colorado GOP. Of course, the assembly.
Elections, and more elections.
Elections, yes. And most of us had our county assemblies this past weekend. Some of y'all are still coming up on your county assemblies, so more results to be coming through. Some of the results have been interesting. We're sorry that our intrepid co-host didn't make it this time around, but be on the lookout because he will be coming back with a vengeance.
Absolutely. And you guys can see we are planning on a kind of campaign wrap-up coming out very, very soon. Look forward to that. It was an amazing journey. I really enjoyed it, honestly. It was something that I never thought I would do at this age, but the fact that we were able to do it at all and make it happen, especially something we're very proud about, is that we did so entirely on a voluntary basis. Our website, everything was made by people who wanted to contribute to the campaign. And we really showed that, you don't need to spend this tremendous amount of money and time. We exposed a lot of things, and we're honestly very proud of our results, especially with the resources that we had and did not have in a lot of cases. So right now we are building up, and we are building up strong. So look out for everything we plan on doing, and plan on seeing Hispanic Patriot become ever more important in the Colorado GOP landscape, as well as big shout out Colorado Hispanic Republicans, which is going to be on the rise. So rise with us.
Yep. So there's going to be a lot going on here in the next couple of weeks. The election picture is going to come into focus, and we'll know more about which candidates are actually going to be on the ballot after the assembly. Some are petitioning on, but no announcements have yet been made about who has made the actual signature situation. So anyway, we're going to be rolling into our interview with John and Pricella. And before we get started, on today's episode, we're doing something that we've never done before, which is for the first time, we're sitting down with not one, but two candidates, a husband and wife team, both stepping into the arena of public service at the same time. This is more than just a political interview. It's a conversation about leadership, shared vision, and what it means to pursue service as a family. running separate campaigns at different levels of government, yet united by common values and purpose, today's guests bring a unique dynamic you won't hear anywhere else. We'll explore not only their individual priorities and policy positions, but also how they navigate the challenges of campaigning side by side, staying aligned with maintaining their own voices in each of their campaigns. So, this is a rare look behind the curtain at what it takes to lead, not just as individuals, but as a team. So, let's get into it. All right. So, without further ado, we will bring in John and Pricella and introduce them with their bios. Go ahead.
Which one would you like to do first? You go.
Go ahead. Just in you, John and Pricella.
Very nice, very nice. Why don't we start ladies first? Pricella Tiegen earned a associate's degree in biblical studies and a master's degree in government from Charis Bible College. She is an influential community leader, entrepreneur, and civic advocate, currently serving as the state manager of field operations for Truth and Liberty, which she oversees civic engagement efforts across Colorado. With over 18 years of experience as a project manager, Priscilla's work centers on educating and mobilizing citizens to fulfill their civic duty through faith-based and community-driven initiatives. In her role, she has collaborated with leaders and conservative organizations across Colorado and nationwide. Her involvement has included participating in a briefing at the White House faith office alongside Hispanic pastors and faith leaders, as well as engaging with national organizations focused on public policy, religious liberty, and pro-life issues, which we all love here on Hispanic Patriot. In addition to her professional work, Pricella dedicates time to mentoring and supporting high-risk adolescents through juvenile justice ministry outreach.
All right. Welcome, John. Welcome, Pricella. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. And we want to go ahead and let you have an opening statement, each of you, for your respective campaigns, and just give us a brief introduction into who you are, so that those that don't know you can know you a little bit better. So, whichever one of you wants to start first, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Pricella Tiegen. I'm running for House District 15, and obviously everybody knows I'm married to John Tig Tiegen. I am a mother. I'm a stepmother, and as you said, I've been in project management for over 2 decades. I've been in ministry for a while, and I joined the race because I see that our liberties are being undermined and attacked, and so if we want to remain free, we definitely have to jump in the race. And I also want to keep this House District 15 strong in its values. It's one of the most conservative districts right now. And so I also plan to definitely keep this House District, like I said, strong. And we've had previous leadership, as you know, Representative Scott Bottoms, who has done great representing this district. And I plan on keeping that legacy going.
All right. So your district that you're running in is Scott's district?
Yes.
Okay. Did not know that. Go ahead.
I figure she'd bring the beauty into the district.
Is Scott term limited in that district?
No, he's not. So he asked me back in February of 25 to take his seat, for me to pray on it, because he was planning on running for governor. And so he was wanting to make sure that he selects a principal leader within his district. And I didn't know they were looking for anybody. I didn't even think about them even considering me. And so it was just a big surprise that they even asked. So they gave me about 5 to 6 months to pray on it, and eventually I said yes, and here we are.
Okay. All right. John, go ahead with your intro.
Mine's not as cool as hers.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I know, right?
So I'm John Tiegen. I'm one of the Benghazi Warriors. So I mean, I've lived in Colorado pretty much my whole life, since the '80s. You know, I've seen it kind of actually go downhill for the most part. You know, I mean, there's still some really good parts in it, but just the lack of leadership. I first jumped in 2023. Mainly, it really was COVID and the riots and the protesting that was going on. Really, well, the riots. I mean, the Colorado Springs was fairly calm. There was a lot of damage, but how our government kind of squashed our rights during COVID really pissed me off. That was the driving factor behind me jumping in, because we had the people that we elected. To me, we should be looking at as kind of the leaders of our city, I guess, you know, kind of the leaders of our society, and standing up for us and protecting the rights that we elect them into office to do. And they weren't doing that. To me, they were squashing our rights. I mean, they're you know, telling businesses you can't open up while they're allowing Walmart and pot shops and liquor stores to open up. But to me, it just wasn't the value that our nation was standing on. It was backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, we are the owners of the city, and what we say goes, not what they say goes. That's my thing. You know, the first, you know, 3 weeks, 30 days to kind of figure out what was going on, I get it. But after that, you inform us as the elected people we put in office. You inform us of what's going on. Then we decide if we want to take the risk of being out in public, if we want to take the risk of going out to eat, if we want to take the risk of with our kids in the park and playing without being arrested.
Okay.
That's the freedom of this nation. So for those leaders to come out, you know, even Southers, even the Attorney General, the public health, the law enforcement, for doing what they did, was, to me, was a complete disgrace of everything this nation stood for. So me running for mayor, I want to give that power back to the people and kind of mainly informing them of actually what's going on, and informing them of actually the true lane of what the mayor can do, the true lane of what city council could do, the true lane of every office that's really out there. Because a lot of people, they don't know whose lane is really what anymore. They really don't. I mean, you know, the city council controls the taxes, the housing, you know, a lot of things. The mayor is the executive, which really honestly is the law enforcement section of the city. I mean, there's a little bit more into it, but
so are you
really
originally from
the day-to-day operations? He should be informing the city of what's going on and what's happening. He should be the one standing up to the city, the policies that are coming out of Denver. He should be helping bringing in businesses, making sure the city is safer and more secure, so businesses don't want to leave. But that's not happening. So, you know, that's the type of person you're going to get out of me. Again, you are the owners. The mayor should be coming out publicly almost every day informing you of what is happening in your city.
Right.
And he's not. He'll go in there and read off a 6x5 card of what his family's doing. He can't even be honest on what's going on with that. You know, this mayor that we have now, I don't like bashing, but he's a puppet. I was watching him doing a thing yesterday. I think it was yesterday, reading about how he was looking into a prepared backpack because of the fires that were going on. He was literally reading off a card about what his family was doing. That's a puppet. I guarantee he has no go bag. It's what it's called. It's a prep bag. It's a go bag. In case something happens, you grab it and you go.
Yeah, too bad they didn't give Joe Biden cards.
You know, so to me, that's kind of why I'm going. I want to give the people more power, more control over their city, because you're not ruling the city, you're managing the city for the people who hire you to do the job.
Right. So just for clarification purposes, are you originally from the Springs?
I've been here since 4th grade.
Okay. Well,
originally from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
That's original enough, I think. 4th grade. It goes way back. I wasn't sure where you were actually from, but I mean, you sound like you grew up in the Springs, so you've got that going. All right, so that gives you that gives us the background of what you guys are up to, and that answered a couple of our questions. But give us we're going to do this on an alternating basis so that we don't get confused. So it's kind of a
I
tag.
mean, we do look alike. I get it.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll give you a question, we'll give Pricella a question, and pardon me if I'm not pronouncing your name right, Pricella. I always thought it was Pricella, but you pronounced it Pricella.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, my apologies. It'll be
That's
Pricella from now on. All right, so let's start with John. How has your background influenced your leadership philosophy?
I think it's actually influenced it quite a bit. I mean, I've kind of been, my first job was actually at Bambino's, and I became pretty much the head cook even in high school, running the kitchen and stuff like that. But, going into the military, it's always, you're responsible for actually people's lives. So I think, the leadership, I mean, if I screw up, people die. You're not losing money. You're not, you're not losing profit. So, a lot of these other business owners, that's what they're worried about. So I think the leadership that I kind of bring, it's a little bit different. I mean, because gear, yeah, that's profit and stuff like that. Because I also had to manage, people think Marines are kind of squared away. You kind of be surprised because you're dealing with 12 guys. They're medical, their finances and stuff like that. Then you go overseas, and it's kind of the same thing. You're a self leader, especially in contracting. You're not really you're in a self leadership role, because if you screw up, I mean, other people die. You're not really leading people, but you're in charge of certain different equipment, certain different money, as in thousands and thousands of dollars of gear and equipment that you have to stay accountable for. Depends on where you're at. So, I've had different, probably odd leadership roles that probably a lot of people have never even kind of like thought about. Just like if you look at like even in Benghazi, to where, we kind of took over an operation to where we weren't in that upper level, but we kind of took it over from the bottom and went up. So that's just the kind of leadership that, that I've kind of been involved with. So pretty much from high school all the way up, running national, starting a national organization that had thousands of members, that were organized down from a 4-man team all the way up to almost a battalion size level that I started, organized, structured, and built, and then,
Right.
and actually I just passed it on to the members themselves, because people came to me or asking, how can we get organized, especially during 2020 when people were being murdered across the state, cities were being destroyed, neighborhoods were being attacked. So I built an organization, so people could come together and protect their neighborhoods, protect their cities. We're teaching, people first aid, survival skills, FEMA preparedness, management, and stuff like that. And I did it all from here in Colorado, and I was managing, people all the way even in Hawaii. Right. So that leadership, just from through the years, that just kind of built that, mentality for me, and, building I guess I don't know if you call it a CRM, but just, my vision, I didn't physically build it. My vision had other people build, an online system to where, we could organize everyone. Again, that's the kind of leadership that I bring to a city that has a different viewpoint, a different mindset that, a regular business owner out here in the city ain't going to bring, to where I see things. And I like to make things more efficient. I remove bottlenecks because I hate it. I hate things that are repetitive. I hate things that just block things from happening. Okay. I don't like people that coming in and power trip over people, try to how would I say this? Blackmail because they're in a position of authority. I don't like people like that. I think they should be completely removed. We had a conversation with the gentleman and a business owner today to where his business was hung up for 4 months from regional department from somebody just like that attitude, which again, we don't need that type of people in this city. And I got no problem just getting rid of them because they do not belong, because that is not, it shouldn't be considered a
Well,
power or authority. It's a job. You're there to do
people
it.
live by what I call red tape syndrome, and
Yeah.
they like how can I put it nicely? They like to justify their existence, and most of the time they have no clue what they're doing, and so they think that by promoting certain agendas and tactics that they look like they're intelligent and doing what the people need. But I like streamlined government. The less government, the better.
Well, it benefits the people, because that business being shut down or on hold for 4 months.
Yep.
Not only does it cost him money, but it also costs the city money.
Of course.
Because now that city ain't gaining that revenue from that business by that one individual who has a power trip. That's my problem also.
Yeah. So quick show note, folks. Nick's studio is having a technical issue, so you've seen him come in and out a couple times. So we're keeping an eye on that, but we will plod on as we always do here on the show. Next question is for you, Pricella, and that is, how does your perspective differ between legislative and executive leadership?
Well, legislating, we focus, obviously, as we all know, is on lawmaking. The executive, obviously, that's a whole different role to a certain degree. And as for legislating, obviously, we have to oversee budget. That's one of the main things is legislating, which is our taxes. And also legislators, really our responsibility is to defend the Constitution, that our policies align to the Constitution, and protecting the rights of the people. That's really what it is. That's the job of a legislator. And I would say the same thing as for an executive, say like the governor. We always have to make sure that we align to the Constitution, period, and defend those rights of the people. But when there's lawmakers or executives that don't read their Constitution, whether it's the federal or the state one, which is the state's about 207 pages. I've read it myself. And so when you don't read those documents, then you start making law that does not align to the Constitution, that are unconstitutional policies and executive orders that violate also the Constitution and the state Constitution, or whether it's the federal Constitution. So I think in a way that the both executive and legislators were still responsible for the Constitution and protecting those principles within.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think most people on our side of the aisle realize that the other side is not really, let's just say, they don't show a whole lot of concern for the Constitution when it comes to some of the things that they put up. And somebody made a good point. There was another candidate that I was reading about, and they had asked them, what are the first 5 things that you would introduce as you're into the legislature? And I thought she had a really good answer. And she says, my goal is to go in and reduce the number of legislative actions that have been taken on, not add more, because it's ridiculous because they think that more is better. But look at how many, you know, laws or policies they pass every session, and it's amazing. It's people don't understand over 700
Yeah.
new things
And
they
and
introduce
that's
every session.
that's probably a statement that I've been saying, and I think other people are grabbing onto that, because they do, within the session, within January to May, they can introduce about 600 to 700, and maybe about 200 to 300 pass. So that means throughout the years we have accumulated thousands of policies, and so some policies have lost, like they've been, obviously we know they're intrusive, and also a lot of policies have lost their purpose. So now it's like we have to review what we have now, not constantly create policies. We have to go back and review, because all these thousands of policies is really restricting our freedoms and liberties. You know, for whether it's our parental rights, whether it's our Second Amendment, whether it's our land, like the overreach on land, our taxes, and so on. So
Tabor, yeah.
yes, exactly. So we got to start, and I might have like two bills that I'm thinking of introducing, and one of them is actually to reduce the amount of law that is being proposed. So say that last year, I think they proposed 657 laws. They proposed them, not all of them passed, but I think it's wise for us just to limit ourselves to propose maybe 100 per session, you know, and that way they're good quality laws. You would hope they're good quality laws, instead of just patting themselves on the back, whether they're Democrat or Republican, and saying, hey, I passed this law, which is really another, either it's going to charge us more tax, or it's going to put another regulation or another rule. They're not focused on actually reviewing and repealing. And then that's the only way that some of that pressure on every citizen would, how do you say, would be a little easier, right?
Yep.
Until we get like our freedom and liberty back. So I think a law going in forward to reduce how many policies that are being introduced. We don't need to introduce that many laws. We don't need no more laws.
Yep.
You know, we need to just cut it at short until we start cleaning up the mess that generations back have done, which also what the mess that the Democrats have us in right now. Also, but also, as we all know, we don't have the House or the Senate. You know, we only have 22 seats in the House.
Right.
There's 65 total seats in the House. And then in the Senate, we have 35 total seats, but we only have 12. So this is why they're able to pass their shenanigans. They pass their immoral laws. They pass these unconstitutional laws. And and they're under.
I think that's a good approach from a candidate perspective, because I know there's a lot of Democrats that don't like the overreach of government, and I think the common sense ones out there will listen to that type of proposition. So you're on the right track, I think, in my opinion. So, John, what are your top 3 priorities for Colorado Springs if you're elected mayor?
I would say not really priorities. I would say my top issues. Priorities are kind of like they kind of stick. Issues, they can always change, because right now I think there's probably about 9 major issues, and everything one of them is a priority in my opinion. So right now my campaigns we're focusing on obviously safety, public safety, and which is part of homelessness. Then the budget, which we have to cut $31 million. We got to figure out how to bring businesses back in. Businesses are losing, but a lot of that, again, that's going to be on her. It's going to be her fault because it comes out of Denver. I can blame everything on her now.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So then you got the roads. there's so many major issues in this city. So it's hard for me to say my top three. It really, because last time I ran, it's pretty much the same. It's really the same thing. It really is. It was the budget, or actually it wasn't the budget. It was housing. It was roads. It was homelessness. And it was security. It was water. And coming back now, it's budget. It's security. It's homes. It's water. It's homelessness. It was the exact same five things that was going on 4 years ago.
Right.
So it's mind-boggling. So to me, it's saying priorities. Well, is it really a priority because it's the same problem? So to me, it's more about issues, and the way I'm focusing it more on how I want to handle it. Honestly, is making everything public, because that's how you really fix problems. Because nothing right now is public. Everything's always it's behind a screen. It's hidden. You don't know where the issues are. You don't know where the failures are. You know where the backlog is. So I call them my scoreboards. Everything's going to be on. I want to put everything up on the website, up on the city page, everything from where crime is, how long it's taken to respond to these locations, where the repeated locations at, what exactly is happening in these locations, what is happening when to these people, are they getting sent back on the street, kind of everything. But it's not a page report. It's you go in, you can kind of click on it and see what's happening. So it's quick kind of bullet points kind of stuff. So you can kind of see exactly what's happening. With the roads, kind of the same thing. City map, neighborhoods, what's going on? When was this thing reported? Who saw it? What's taking so long? Kind of thing. It kind of breaks everything down so the city can see exactly what's going on. City budget, where are the major contracts? Who are the major drivers in our budget? Where's the money actually going? Because we all know the biggest budget in the city is the police. Okay, well, where's the money going into the police? Where inside the police department is the money going? You know what I'm saying? Where is it being spent? Where can it be spent wiser? Kind of a thing. So that's what I want to do. Actually break it down so people can see where it's going. People can see where the money's actually in the contracts. Are the contracts actually producing what they say they're producing? Because if they're not, they're getting cut. Same with homelessness. Yes, you want to be kind of humane with homelessness, but you don't want to just keep throwing money at it and let it just keep revolving freaking door. I hate that. There has to be a true beginning to an end. If we're going to be paying our tax, because it's on my tax money too. So if we're throwing tax money at something that doesn't actually have an outcome, I'm pulling the money on it.
So just kind of a segue to what we're talking about. As we know, the mayor is not the king of the city. He's got a city council. So what is the current makeup of the city council right now? And as far as left versus right, if you will. I know it.
So there's a lot of. So it's nonpartisan.
It's nonpartisan, and we know that.
But I mean, obviously that's bull crap.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. There's left and right.
I think there's 7 seats, and I think there might be only
there's three at large, kind of a thing.
Okay.
But it's more it's more leaning more on the conservative side. So Colorado Springs is still more conservative, but the thing is, so nobody really tells unless the average person, I would say only about 30 to 40%, that's probably even pushing it, actually pays attention to what goes on and what the process is on everything, right? People do watch the news, so my goal is to actually put a pipeline to truly inform the community on what's happening, what's going on, truly holding city halls, not just downtown, actually going into neighborhoods and doing things as the mayor should. Kind of back in the day when the mayor is actually in the public, going to the community and actually gathering people up. This is what's going on in your community. This is what's going on up north. This is what's going on down south. What do you want to do about it?
Right.
This is what your city council is doing. This is what they voted on. This is what's happening. What are you going to do about it? If they say, well, we don't know what to do, I'm going to tell you what to do. This is what your police department's doing. What do you want me to do about it? Because this is your city. I'm just here to manage it for you.
Right.
I can tell you what I want to do. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. But what do you want it to happen? If I can do it, I'll do it. But if I can't, I'll tell you. If you want me to do something, I can't do it. Well, this is what I need from you, because if city council owns that lane, I need your help to make sure that they do it, because I need your voice to tell city council this is what needs to happen. Or if it's outside, kind of, because there's little pockets, actually a pretty big pocket next to me that belongs to county. So if something in that little area belongs to county, well, guess what? Then I need county commissioners. I need the sheriff's office. I need your voice to help me behind my voice to go to the sheriff's office and county commissioner to get that done as well. So that's another thing. Again, the mayor, to me right now, he's just even Southers. I know people like Southers. I'll probably get hit for it, but again, he was weak during COVID. That was weakness. He did not stand up for the community. He just kind of sat back and let happen what happened. To me, that was weakness. So this mayor now, it's the same concept. He's a freaking puppet for Denver and Aurora and everything else. He does not stand up and do what and does what needs to be done. He doesn't voice what needs to be voiced. I didn't hear anything when he came out when the prostitution bill, even though he got stumped. He didn't say a word about it. He should have been the first voice out protecting the city. So that's the kind of stuff that the mayor should be doing, and that's what I'm kind of talking about. Just being that voice, being that influence that makes the difference to protect our city. And I think once you have that strong leader, and again, not I'm gonna say not being an ass, but just being that influence and saying, hey, this is what needs to be done, and informing people when city council does something, kind of like how that one city council got recalled. Again, I don't know the whole details, but that district didn't want those apartments in District 2, so they recalled them. We told you we didn't want it here, but you voted it in anyway, so you're gone. But again, just informing more people of actually what's happening, because the mayor has a lot of voice. And then also going in and when the mayor can't control the school boards or the school districts, but when a school is pushing the transgender, allowing these trans kids, boys into girls' sports, boys into girls' locker rooms, that mayor should be a voice to protect those girls.
Okay. Hold that thought, because we will be getting to some of the other issues. But okay. One thing I want to make clear, at least in my estimation, I don't think you're going to get on TV and say that ICE isn't welcome in Colorado Springs, right?
What's that?
I said you won't be a Mayor Johnson in Denver and get on the TV and say that ICE is not welcome in Colorado Springs.
Oh, I put ICE in everything.
There you go. Good answer. Nick?
Brilliant. No, we love to see that. And so, Pricella, I have a very good question for you. After a quick apology, everybody, the office space I'm in had a internet reset at the worst possible time. So we're gonna go get him for that later on. So stay tuned for that. But Pricella,
you gotta go get a drink. You don't have to lie.
It's a little bit too early for that. Although I am straight off the job site, so obviously I was drinking beforehand. Construction folks, some of the best work you'll ever find. Right. But HD 15. What can you tell us about some of the most urgent issues facing this district, and maybe some that a lot of people wouldn't think of when they look at your district on a map?
Well, as we all know, that House District 15 is actually one of the strongest conservative districts here in El Paso County. And obviously that has a lot to do with leadership. Like I got a hands down to Representative Scott Bottoms, who is now running for governor. He definitely has fought for the concerns. And so to answer your question, those concerns remain the same. That's, their Second Amendment, their parental rights, which obviously the parental rights, and protecting our kids from all this pedophilia, and this, sex transitioning laws that they, as we all know, the three initiatives that just are going to be on the ballot in regards to the sex traffickers getting life in prison, and no boys and girls sports, and that one sexual reconstruction, that kind of thing. So those are really the main concerns. So there's a lot of moral issues with all of that. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that. They want to talk about taxes. They want to talk about land, which
Well,
is
in
also
that sense, have we heard the voters be talking about this when you go and talk with them? Especially, do they feel under attack? This is a great district. Scott Bottoms, of course,
yes,
has shepherded it very well. So, do people feel that this is sort of perhaps not beyond the defensive, but to maintain the good that has been cultivated in this district? Is that what you're hearing from the voters?
yes. So I went to I went door knocking to all the delegates down here in this area. Um, I kind of felt like a stalker because you have to call them, you have to text them, you got to call them again, you got to send them an email, you got to go to their door,
It
and
does feel strange, doesn't it?
And that's how
it
we
does.
met.
And so, but no, once they actually seen me, it was that they appreciated Scott Bottoms representing them well in regards to moral issues. That's with their kids, their parental rights, um, and all the push on the trans stuff. And so they just looked at me, will you continue to defend that? And I gave them 100% yes. And so, and obviously the second stuff was, the Second Amendment. I came across a lot of people that are strong Second Amendment people. And definitely, obviously, we know all these are natural rights, and so we got to continue to defend them, fight for it, and protect those rights. And so that's one thing that I guaranteed them, that I would do my best to continue to fight and defend what really concerns this district. So they're that's really what they really wanted out of me, reassurance that I was going to continue to do what Scott is doing, meaning also revealing the evil that is coming down from Denver, and
Oh,
so, and that's what I
absolutely.
plan to do, because that's what I was requested to do by the constituents in this district.
That's absolutely wonderful. No, and that's what we want to see, because there's so many harmful state policies coming down from Denver trying to tell us what to do in our city. So I want to ask, what will you do to push back against this tide? This is such a malevolent force that's coming down on us, that's coming after our children and every such. So, what will you do to stand against those things?
Well, number one is always informing the citizens and the constituents on uh, what is coming out of there. So it's always educating and informing parents. And a call to action also for the citizens to go and speak up there at the in Denver, against this immoral stuff that concerns them. So that's number one, because right now, as we all know, I just mentioned to Hugo when you were offline, is that we don't have the House or the Senate. So right now, it's a constant battle, an uphill battle, and just revealing what the other side is doing against our rights. Now, I did mention to Hugo about limiting certain amount of policies that are being introduced. There's another bill that I'm also considering and introducing. So there's only two, because I don't want to continue to make laws. I want to make sure that we review current laws that really have lost their purpose or that have violated our Constitution and the rights of the people. So to your question, that will reviewing what is currently right now and not continuing to pass law, whether we're reviewing, amending, and that kind of thing. We got a clean house, and that will address all those immoral and unconstitutional laws that concern the citizens of Colorado in my House district. So we review what really and prioritize which ones to review first, in the hope that we can repeal these laws completely if they're unconstitutional. But that is also a little, to be honest and transparent, that would be naive to say I'm going to pass this law, because I can't say that yet, because we don't have the House. And that's where I always have a call to action for all the citizens in other House districts. If you're living in a House district where it's been held by a Democrat for years and you don't like what you're seeing from the Capitol, you have to encourage other people to run,
Or
and
run
you have
yourself.
or run yourself, and we have to flip seats moving forward. We have to put in the fight and challenge these seats that have never been challenged before. And so we got to challenge Senate seats, we got to challenge House seats, and but yeah, that's the only way we can actually pass one law, which I call it unconstitutional compliance and legislative cleanup act. You put one law like that, and you can start reviewing every current bill and repealing it from the House, instead of going forward and say one law. You have to go to court, you got to go to the judges, you got to do this, and we're spending lots of taxpayer money to try to repeal it, in which it might not be repealed because we don't have a good district judges that are conservative, right? And so
we're going to trade in that axe of truth and liberty, one might say, and turn it into a chainsaw. Was that what I'm hearing? Or?
pretty much.
Very nice. Great to hear.
We have to do our best this midterms and next midterms to gain seats if we really truly want change in our state. And we can go up there, we can do testimony after testimony, we can have hundreds or even thousands of protests up at the Capitol, but if we don't gain seats, that's just a waste of time. It really is. Well, I wouldn't say that. Testimonies are amazing. They are, because they go out in media and encourages other people. It does educate other people. So I do take that back. But it's not going to change the law.
I know what you meant.
Until we.
And so did we, absolutely.
We're going to try a little, something a little fun, real quick. It's called rapid fire. So we're going to start with you, John.
I remember this.
And the first one is going to be leadership in one word and why.
If anyone knows rapid fire, it would be John.
Leadership. One word. Why? Wow. Okay. I didn't think. Oh boy. Yeah, my brain's not thinking. So leadership in one.
It helps you think on your feet.
Leadership is listening.
Okay.
So why? A leader listens to the people around him, and that's what a good leader does. He doesn't just say, "Do as I say," and just don't do as I say and not as I do, kind of a person. He listens to the people around him and takes advice. That's what leadership is.
I love that, because there's a difference between hearing and listening. John seems to understand that.
Good answer. All right, Pricella.
Leadership.
Same thing for you.
Oh, cheating.
Oh, it's not it's a different one. It's a different question.
Same one for you.
Oh, same one. Okay.
Oh.
So thank you, Hugo. So leadership for me is actual stewardship. I would say stewardship because I read a quote that Abraham Lincoln addressed, that true leaders lead by being led. That is being led by God and being led by the people that you are leading. And so that is stewardship. You're there not to be a ruler over people. You're there to steward the people's concerns. And so I believe that's what leadership is.
That's what I said.
That's beautiful.
I said it way better.
Go ahead, Nick. Do Q23.
Absolutely. Q23, which is, John, what is your biggest obstacle if elected?
Man, I won't have any obstacles.
That is
So
amazing.
the biggest
Marine. That's a Marine talking.
No, the biggest obstacles is just going to be working with people that control other lanes. That's going to be the biggest obstacle.
Okay.
It will be true.
And that's where I need, again, that's where the owners of the city come in, and I'll need your guys' help with that influence.
So just to be clear, are you running against the incumbent,
Yes.
or is there another candidate?
Now, I'm sure there'll be other candidates.
Okay. All right. Go ahead with the next one, Nick.
Absolutely, Priscilla. Same question to you, except for the city. This is for the legislature. What is the biggest obstacle in your path if elected?
Was I would say the Democrats.
Well, let's break it down then. What Democrats do you think will give you the most trouble? Do you think it'll be those radical social Democrats, or do
Yeah, I think
you think those will be the guys?
the radical socialist Democrats that really hate this country, and yeah, because I don't think there's a lot of
And
them.
our faith, it should be said.
Huh?
And our faith, it should be said, is a big
Yes,
obstacle. It's
yeah.
something we oppose.
They don't there's a lot of Democrats in there that are pretty silent, that are not outspoken, but yet they still vote. So, against our Constitution, against moral values and stuff like that. But I think, but it would be really those radical ones that will definitely challenge me. Um, and it's sad to see that some of them are Hispanic people, you know and it's really sad because as we know that I think all cultures generally are very conservative, but I know the Hispanic culture has actually carried those conservative values for generation now. I think we're the one of the most strongest conservative culture right now standing. I would say the second one could be like and this is my opinion, I could be wrong, I'm not like collecting data and all of that stuff. But I would say, African American people, that kind of thing. And but yeah, we're all conservatives at the core, but I think the Hispanic community has maintained it still for generations. And so it's very sad to see when you see legislators up there, whether the senators or House representatives, that have went off, like literally they went off the cliff, in regards to some issues and how they use their platform to shift culture in that direction. And so it's very, very sad to see. And it really ticks me off, to be honest with you.
Oh, me too. I will say that, when we see our own people contributing to really the genocide of the culture and the people, especially those who fund abortion and things in our communities very specifically, it's really, really sad. And you both have fought very hard for American lives. And that is one thing that I think unites you as a couple. Because for me and my wife, you guys are definitely an inspiration. That's beautiful to see you guys as a couple. And that's just something I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I think that's what people have to notice is where do people stand on certain principles. Um, and I believe that even though you might have, I'm a believer, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. A lot of people know that. Obviously, you read my bio. I always give him the honor and the glory in everything I do, because I wouldn't be here for him, because of him. But I talk to either LGBT people, I talk to, doing obviously with Truth and Liberty, I've dealt with a lot of different lifestyles of people, right? From conservative, not conservative, atheist, LGBT, whatever. And but to the core, I always tell them, like, even if you don't believe what I believe, these principles have made you prosperous in this country. Even if you disagree with them, why destroy them if they're helping you with free market? They're helping you, they're just governing principles. Say like, don't go steal. That's a governing principle. But yet we have law that says that you can steal under $1,000. That's violating a principle, So this is why we have chaos. So just honor the principles. And we can talk about Jesus later, because I still want to get them saved, but just honor the principles, and we will be a very successful, not just city, but a state, just like what really, really ticked me off is, and I'm sure you guys heard about that Representative Nguyen, the first Vietnamese in the House, and he didn't say he skipped God in the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's a disrespect to our nation. Like, you just sworn
It's big time
as
disrespect.
a legislator to defend your state, your federal constitution, but yet you disrespect the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. No, that's what, when the left is in control, that's exactly what they do, because
And I don't know where the heck they found this kid, because he got to go. He's House District 33. So anybody listening to this, you make sure that you find somebody in House District 33 and get him out of there, because he needs to go.
100%. And that's an interesting point. Is that, John, one quick question. How do you feel, given that you've literally bled for this country, when you see that kind of disrespect?
That's the thing. You bled for the country. That's their right.
That is an honorable.
It's their right, though, and that's the thing. You got to respect it. You can hate it, but it's their right. That's.
No, yeah, I'm not. No, I don't think anybody's talking about taking free speech away. But I think it's about changing the culture and making sure that the voters are aware of what people stand for, so that when they go vote, they can assess whether or not their values align with that person who's going to be their representative, and that's a fair assessment. So, but no, yeah, I wouldn't propose taking people's rights away. I would propose is basically exposing them for who they are, so that when the voters make that decision, they can make it on an informed basis.
Like I try to tell people, our own Constitution is destroying ourselves.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, I mean, just go on again, kind of with the illegal immigrant kind of thing, with the 14th Amendment and how that thing was written. It wasn't really there for the anchor babies. The more, you can actually read through it, the purpose of it, the back law, and I did my podcast, I really looked into it. Hopefully the Supreme Court actually picks it up. I think it's going to get reversed to where, because it actually was never looked at in the Supreme Court, was never ruled by the Supreme Court. It's all just been executive order crap. So that whole anchor baby thing, it's not ruled by a judge. It's ruled by executive order only. So I think anyway. So again, like I keep saying, like we are destroying ourselves with our own Constitution, our own Bill of Rights. So again, like I say, it's
all right.
We need to hold our own elected officials accountable instead of like putting them on a freaking pedestal. Like me being mayor, I'm not up here. The citizens are up here. The elected officials are down here. That's where we need to start putting them. And that's the freaking problem. They think they're up here. That's why when you go into like Congress, when you go up to Denver, the people, when they go, they're up top. They're down here at the bottom. That's where we need to start putting them. Again, don't go in there and start threatening them and stuff like that, because then you're just getting barred and you just look stupid anyways. But actually using your voice, using your masculinity, using what you need to actually put them back in their freaking place. Not on a freaking pedestal, not going out there and buying them freaking dinner. They should be buying you dinner, because you're their boss.
Amen to that.
All right, we're coming up against the
them freaking crap. Stop again praising them when you see Bolbert, when you see freaking all these congressmen. I'm so freaking tired of it. Yeah, say, hey man, thanks for doing what you're doing up there. We appreciate it, but that's about it.
I agree with that. We need more humility in that.
So we're up against the clock. So one quick closing question that we want to get out, and that for you, John, what misconception about your campaign needs correcting, if any?
I would probably. I don't really know yet.
You haven't come up against that yet?
I haven't come up. I mean, from last time, I think it was the organization that I had when people called it a militia. I mean, that thing was. was probably about the only thing.
That's not really a great criticism, to be honest. That sounds cool to me, but maybe maybe I'm just a young guy.
Okay.
Who knows?
But to me, we had so many damn militias. Why would I need to start another one? And I was just trying to get.
That's a very fair point.
And, all right, Pricella, what are people getting wrong about you?
You know,
Me?
Well, that was a couple. There is a couple question, and that is, do voters respond differently knowing your spouse is also running?
You know they do. They
No.
do. So sometimes I try not to mention him. The reason why is because I want them to know me, who I am, and so yeah, he gets in the way quite a bit. So okay.
Well, thank you guys for getting in the way here. We love to see you, and welcome back.
Thank you for coming on tonight. We wish you well on the campaign trail, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you guys at the assemblies and everything. So good luck to you, and God bless you. And we'll see how
And
things
thank you for
shake
having
out.
us.
Thanks
Of course,
for coming on.
anytime.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. God bless America.
All right, we are done for the night.
Guys, we appreciate you so much. We just wanted to say that. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Yep. All right. So next week, Wednesday evening, folks, we're working on a topic, and we hope to bring you some good information and hopefully another interview. But we'll see how that plays out. Thank you for tuning in tonight. God bless you.